G'day everyone, welcome to another episode of Wine Back Wednesday, and a bit cooler today, so I've went down in the cellar and grabbed myself an aged bottle of red. This is a 1999 Nepenthe Vineyards, the Fugue. It's a Bordeaux blend, 59% Cabernet Sauvignon, 35% Merlot and 6% Cab Franc. And I helped I was still at Roseworthy, so vintage 95-96. We made the wines, we made Cabernet, and we made Pinot Noir and Chardonnay down at Roman's Clarendon Hills. And then in 97, I was still at Roseworthy, and Pete Leske came on board full time, and the winery was sort of finished there. And that's where, I suppose, the what we know of Nepenthe Vineyards or Nepenthe wines started in that 97 year as such. My first full vintage was 98, and then obviously this is the 99. We had a small amount of Cabernet planted up in the northwest little pocket of the property on Tiers Road, Vickers Road, sorry, and really shallow soil. And we ended up making a wine at least twice that I can remember, called the Hungry Ground. It was really shallow. The Cabernet was very sort of short shoots and spiky and small berries and really intense, and has really unique character about it, and very, very powerful. It wasn't a big wine, but just lovely, full of flavour, and obviously being in the hills still had lovely acidity and fine tannin structure. It was sort of northwesterly facing slope, so it had lovely exposure in the afternoon, and quite high on on top of the hill. There was 7 acres of Merlot in the property, which used to be a kiwi fruit orchard, and then we planted half of it one year and half of the next year, and we called it old and young. It sort of it was only for our benefit, so we knew which parcel was which, because they're sort of different. Obviously, the two different ages, and I think we had 2 different root stocks as well. I think it was Schwartzman and Regeri, I think. If I'm Again, my memory serves me better. But and then also we had some fruit out of Ashton. There was some lovely Cabernet Sauvignon and Cab Franc from over there as well. The Fugue, as I said, the Fugue is that lovely. It's a continuous piece of music that is ever evolving and flowing and rolling over itself, and continues indefinitely. And there was this wonderful steel sculpture that the Twaddell's had made, Ed and Sue. They were heavily into the arts in South Australia, whether it be theatre or visual art as well, like in painting and sculptures and stuff. And it was actually commissioned by them and was installed up at Lenswood. And after the sale, it was taken, and it's down. If you ever drive in Adelaide, and the corner of Victoria Drive and Frome Road, and the edge of the Torrens next to the traffic lights there, which go over to Botanic Park, you'll see a sculpture there, which is the Fugue. It's like a figure of 8 with an extra loop, as you can sort of see on the front label there. I did I opened it before because, being a bit older, it's 27 years old, I wasn't sure what the cork was, but the cork has held on well. A little bit of movement and travel up the cork, but other than that, it came out in one piece, and I could probably open it on video and done there. But let's give it a crack. Lovely, still got a vibrant brick red colour and sort of a red core. There's also nice red fruits and primary red fruits in there. A little bit of lovely dried leaf and herbs that you get off Cabernet Franc, and there's a little bit of chocolate there, and there's some violets, that sort of lovely violet note you'd sometimes get off Cabernet. On the palate, lovely acidity. That red fruit spectrum is still there. Obviously that black currant and purple sort of notes have declined and aren't really present, but there's plenty of fruit weight there. Again, on the palate, there's a bit of pencil shavings from that sort of Merlot and Cab Franc, and then also that dried herb note from the Cab Franc is coming through, and the tannins are very fine and still present, with lovely acidity, as I said, good length and balance. Obviously 1999 was quite a warm, dry year, but in the same token, of being in the Adelaide Hills, had lovely cool nights, and just lovely, holds that acidity. It's 14% alcohol, so we got it reasonably right. and it was all fermented. All the parcels are fermented separately, open top fermenters and plungers and pump overs, depends how big the ferment was. We probably would have extended skin maceration from top of my head, probably up for about 3 weeks, I reckon. And then matured in barriques. Predominantly French, but there would have been a bit of Russian in there as well. We would, at the time, Peter was we're coming at the end of a trial that Nepenthe was involved with one of the cooperages from France that were looking at if there was a significant difference between French and Russian oak. Obviously Russian had been out of the market for a number of years because of the amount of shrapnel that had been in a lot of the trees after the Second World War, so they had to sort of weed them out and make sure that there was no lead left in the trees that they were utilising for barrels. Obviously it's a food industry, and you don't want lead poisoning per se. But in the end, there was, if I can remember, there was no great significant difference between French and Russian oak, and Russian was less expensive at the time, so it was good. We used a little bit of Russian across the board from after the years of that, because we used it in the reds, a bit of Chardonnay, a bit of Pinot, Cabernet blends obviously. But there you have it. So the Nepenthe Vineyards up from Lenswood, the Fugue. There was another tier of Bordeaux blend called the Rogue, which was the next one down, but and then obviously above this, as I said, there was that one bit of Cabernet called Hungry Ground off that small little block that we had on the northwest of the Lenswood property. But overall, that's as I said, look, the cork is hanging together, the wine is fresh, pretty primary overall for 27 years old, coming up for 27 years old, and pretty tasty. So thanks for listening, and the 1999 Nepenthe Vineyards, the Fugue Bordeaux blend. Cheers.